The question is, would anyone even dare to attempt to climb one of the world's deadliest mountains with equipment barely better than what you'd take camping? That's exactly what A.F. Mummery did in 1895 when he set out to conquer Nanga Parbat. And the story of what happened next would change mountaineering forever.
You know, I've heard of famous Everest expeditions, but this sounds like it happened way before those. What made this attempt so remarkable?
Well, we're talking about a time when even professional surveyors hadn't mastered basic climbing techniques. The Survey of India, these were the experts of the day, didn't even know how to properly use ice axes or ropes. And here comes Mummery, taking on a mountain that rises 24,000 feet straight up from the Indus River.
That's absolutely mind-boggling. How did they even prepare for something like that without modern equipment?
Here's what's fascinating. They basically went in with regular hunting expedition gear plus some basic climbing equipment. No specialized high-altitude gear, no emergency communications, nothing. And get this, they weren't even backed by any major organization. Just Mummery and his friends taking on what one witness called one of the most terrifying faces of a mountain ever seen.
So what made them choose such an intimidating route?
That's the really interesting part. They actually chose the northwest face because the other options were even more dangerous. We're talking about precipices dropping down for 15,000 feet, with about 13,000 feet being practically vertical. The scale was so immense that even experienced alpine climbers had trouble comprehending it.
That must have required some incredible climbing skills. How did they manage?
Well, here's where it gets really amazing. Mummery made his most serious attempt with a Gurkha climber named Ragobir, and they couldn't even speak the same language. They managed to reach 21,000 feet, communicating purely through gestures. And they discovered partway through that Ragobir had either brought no food or eaten all his supplies at the first stop.
You know, that's just incredible. How did they coordinate such technical climbing without being able to communicate?
It really speaks to the universal language of mountaineering, right? But what's tragic is what happened next. After that initial attempt didn't reach the summit, Mummery decided to try a different approach with two Gurkha companions. They left food caches along their route in case they needed to retreat, but they never returned.
That's devastating. Was there any attempt to find them?
Their teammates, Colley and Hastings, made several desperate attempts, but the conditions were impossible. Heavy snowfall and constant avalanches made the mountain completely impassable. Dr. Colley later wrote this beautiful tribute about how Mummery rests among the snow-laden glaciers of the mighty hills, with the peaks he loved keeping watch over him.
Looking back now, what do you think this expedition taught us about mountaineering?
You know, despite its tragic ending, this expedition really set the stage for modern Himalayan climbing. It showed both the possibilities and limitations of human ambition in these extreme environments. Even today, with all our modern technology, these peaks remain incredibly dangerous. Every climber who steps foot on Nanga Parbat is, in a way, following in Mummery's footsteps, though, thankfully, with much better odds of returning.
That really puts modern climbing achievements into perspective, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. And what's remarkable is how some of their observations still hold true today. Mummery noted how the upper parts of the mountain sometimes appear less dangerous than the middle sections, something modern climbers still encounter. These weren't just reckless adventurers. They were laying the groundwork for all future Himalayan exploration. teaching us lessons that we're still learning from more than a century later.